L'ancien footballeur Eric Cantona prend la parole concernant la situation actuelle à Gaza. Il dit « Défendre les droits de l'homme des Palestiniens ne signifie pas être pro-Hamas. Dire « libérer la Palestine » ne signifie pas être antisémite ou vouloir que tous les Juifs partent. Libérer la Palestine signifie libérer les Palestiniens de l'occupation israélienne qui leur a été enlevée depuis 75 ans. Libérer la Palestine signifie arrêter d'enfermer 2,3 millions de Palestiniens dans la plus grande prison à ciel ouvert du monde, dont la moitié sont des enfants. Libérer la Palestine signifie mettre fin à l'apartheid imposé par le gouvernement israélien. Libérer la Palestine signifie donner aux Palestiniens le contrôle de l'infrastructure de base dans leur pays. L'ancien footballeur Eric Cantona.
Can't believe how gullible some people are. There's no such thing as Palestine. I can show you a map.
I've heard John Hagee tell his church there's no such thing as Palestine. And I have right here a Bible that's over 100 years old. And in the Bible maps, it says Palestine on the map of the Holy Land.
Which had been that way for a very, very, very long time.
And Doc, when I was in Jordan and I met with an extremely wealthy businessman who was Palestinian, he lost his home, his family estate. He lost it when the Jews took over Palestine in 48. He lost everything. This man is in his late 80s. He showed me on his wall, he had all these photographs on his wall. He had in a picture frame, he had his passport when he was a young man, and it said Palestine. He was a Palestinian, and he had a Palestinian passport.
And the Jews that moved to the Middle East in the 30s
had 40s, Palestinian passports.
Had Palestinian passports.
And then you'll have somebody like John Hagee stand up and tell a congregation, there's that's my Bible right there. That is my Bible. Thank you, guys. That's the Bible I have in my office, and it says Palestine or the Holy Land. You can either call it the Holy Land or you can call it Palestine.
But it wasn't called Israel.
It wasn't called the Zionist state of Israel. The state of Israel is existing in the region of Palestine. So for John Hagee and these other Christian Zionists to lie and say there was never a place called Palestine, it's just...
And say it with a straight face, too.
They say, I know, they're just deceiving. They're propagandists for the Zionists. I wish they'd be advocates for Jesus Christ. I wish that they would work for Jesus as hard as they have lied for the Zionists.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. A textbook case of genocide. Israel has been explicit about what it's carrying out in Gaza. Why isn't the world listening? That's the headline of a new piece in Jewish Currents by our next guest, Raz Siegel. He's an Israeli historian, associate professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Stockton University, where he's also an endowed professor in the study of modern genocide. Raz Siegel joins us now from Philadelphia. Professor Siegel, welcome to Democracy Now! Lay out your case.
Thank you for having me. I think that indeed what we're seeing now in Gaza is a case of genocide. We have to understand that the UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide from 1948 requires that we see special intent for genocide to happen. And to quote the convention, intent to destroy a group as defined as racial, ethnic, religious, or national, as such, that is collectively, not just individuals. And this intent, as we just heard, is on full display by Israeli politicians and army officers. Since 7th of October, we heard Israel's president. It's well known what Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said on 9th of October, declaring a complete siege on Gaza, cutting off water, food, fuel, stating that we're fighting human animals and we will react accordingly. He also said that we will eliminate everything. We know that Israeli army spokesperson Daniel Hagari, for example, acknowledged one-tune destruction and said explicitly the emphasis is on damage and not on accuracy. So we're seeing this special intent on full display. And really, I have to say, if this is not special intent to commit genocide, I really don't know what is. So when we look at the actions has taken, the dropping of thousands and thousands of bombs in a couple of days, including phosphorus bombs, as we heard, on one of the most densely populated areas around the world, together with these proclamations of intent, this indeed constitutes genocidal killing, which is the first act, according to the Convention, of genocide. And Israel, I must say, is also perpetrating act number 2 and 3, that is causing serious bodily or mental harm and creating conditions designed to bring about the destruction of the group by cutting off water, food, supply of energy, bombing hospitals, ordering the fast evictions of hospitals, which the World Health Organization has declared to be, quote, a death sentence. So we're seeing the combination of genocidal acts with special intent. This is indeed a textbook case of genocide.
Can you talk about the displacement? Israel saying that the entire northern Gaza, now hundreds of thousands of people have complied, must move south. The northern part of Gaza is the most populated with Gaza City.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as is well known, this is an impossible order. It's impossible for specific groups of people in hospitals, people defined as disabled, elderly people, many Palestinians who refuse to leave their homes because of their histories and their memories of the Nakba. This is an impossible order. It's yet another indication of the intent to destroy, the intent to commit genocide. It's also worthwhile to emphasize Defense Minister Yoav Gallant new term that he coined, complete siege. It seems like a completely new term that really takes the what was already a 17-year siege on Gaza, the longest in modern history, which is already a clear violation of international humanitarian law. It takes this siege and now turns it into a complete siege, which really signals the turn to this kind of genocidal destruction that we're seeing, including with this eviction order. It's also worthwhile to try to explain, I think, why Israel is so explicit in its declaration. We've heard Israel president talk about evil. We've also heard about Biden's use of the word evil. EU leaders describe the Hamas attack as evil. And it has to be said, the Hamas attack were clear war crimes, the mass murder of more than 1,000 Israeli civilians, a horrendous war crime that rightfully shocked many Israelis and many people around the world. But evil is not a term to describe them. Evil is a term to decontextualize. Evil is a term to demonize and to really enhance the widespread fantasies of Israelis today that they're fighting Nazis. Actually, former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett said that directly in an interview yesterday. We are fighting Nazis. We see this in many other indications in Israeli society and politics today. And if we're fighting Nazis, then everything is permissible.
Professor Siegel, I actually wanted to go to the former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, who's currently in the Israeli army. This is from a few days ago, where he exploded at the Sky News anchor Kamali Melbourne during an interview Thursday when Melbourne pressed him on Israel's attacks on Palestinian civilians. This is a part of what he said.
What about those Palestinians in hospital who are on life support and babies and incubators whose life support and incubator will have to be turned off because the Israelis have cut the power to Gaza?
Are you seriously keep on asking me about Palestinian civilians? What's wrong with you? Have you not seen what happened? We're fighting Nazis. We don't target them. Now, the world can come and bring them anything they want. If you want to bring them electricity, I'm not going to feed electricity or water to my enemies. If anyone else wants, that's fine. We're not responsible for them.
This is the point.
But you
this
keep
is the
on.
point.
I want to tell you. No, listen. You listen to me right now. I've heard you enough.
No, I understand. We're trying to have a conversation here. Listen, this is my program. This is my show. And I am asking the questions. You're raising your voice, and I've asked you, and we've already stopped, please, and let me finish. We've already distinguished between Hamas.
I want to tell you, shame on you.
You're trying to speak over me.
We are not. Shame on you.
It's nothing about shame. We're trying to have a conversation about a very serious situation here, and you are refusing to address.
Fox News and Zionist News. corporate Zionist news. You're full of shit. That's what you are.
I just want to ask you,
I don't
do you care about the babies that were beheaded?
No, they were never beheaded. That was a made-up story. It's not true. It's bullshit. Show me the fucking pictures now. Show me the pictures. You're a lying full of shit. You're full of shit. You and Fox 5 News is full of shit.
Do you think that what happened this weekend is okay?
It is okay because it's international law. Resolution 242 says when an occupying force has the right to come in, when they occupy your country, you have a right, any means necessary, to defend your country with violence.
Et Magali Lunel qui est avec nous également comme tous les jours à cette heure-ci. Alors on l'a vu, la bande de Gaza, véritable poudrière et surtout berceau d'organisations terroristes qui a pris le pouvoir, est une bande de terre à l'histoire bien particulière. Au milieu de l'État d'Israël, coincé entre la mer et donc cette frontière infranchissable, c'est un lieu fermé donc où s'autonourrissent de nombreux combats au milieu d'une population en grande partie désœuvrée. Comment ce territoire a-t-il vu le jour, Magali? On va faire un peu d'histoire.
Ouais, on va débuter en 1948, quand l'État d'Israël est créé. C'est là que ça va être plus simple. Donc le territoire de Palestine est divisé sans l'accord des Palestiniens qui habitent ici. La plupart donc sont obligés de fuir ou sont expulsés. Des dizaines de milliers vont alors affluer donc, dans cette bande de Gaza. Les actions de guérilla ont commencé dès le début, et dès le début, elles ont été sévèrement réprimées par Israël. On va choisir une autre date, 1967, la guerre des 6 jours. L'État hébreu s'empare de Gaza, les Israéliens vont y rester pendant presque 40 ans. Ce n'est qu'en 2005 que les colons juifs se retirent, mais la situation ne va pas s'améliorer pour autant. Les Israéliens en gardent le contrôle total. 2006, c'est l'autre date qu'on choisit. Le Hamas remporte les élections législatives et s'empare ici du pouvoir. En réaction, Israël impose un blocus terrestre, aérien et maritime. Une immense clôture sécurisée est érigée. C'est la fameuse prison à ciel ouvert dénoncée par Human Rights Watch. Depuis 16 ans, donc, la bande de Gaza est coupée du monde. Tout est contrôlé, la circulation des personnes comme des biens, avec un calcul d'un cynisme inouï, maintenir les Gazaouis sous domination. Regardez, l'idée est de mettre les Palestiniens au régime sans les faire mourir de faim. Celui qui parle ici, c'est un avocat qui avait participé au processus de paix. Et dans le détail, voilà ce que ça donne. C'est raconté dans Le Monde aujourd'hui. Les diététiciens de l'armée israélienne ont calculé la ration calorique permettant de maintenir le Gazaoui moyen juste au-dessus du seuil de malnutrition. 2279 calories par personne et par jour. Donc à partir de cette estimation, l'état-major a décidé que 131 camions seraient autorisés à entrer dans Gaza chaque jour. Les Gazaouis, donc, organisent régulièrement des manifestations pour protester contre ce blocus étouffant, mobilisation toujours sévèrement réprimée par les Israéliens avec des morts et des blessés graves. La rage monte. Benjamin Netanyahou, qui est arrivé au pouvoir en 2009, n'en a cure. Au contraire, il s'arrange avec le Hamas, bombarde régulièrement et il pense avoir trouvé là le moyen de maintenir la situation telle qu'elle est. Voilà ce qu'il a expliqué à son parti, c'était en 2019. Quiconque veut contrecarrer la création d'un État palestinien doit soutenir notre politique de renforcement du Hamas et de transfert d'argent au Hamas. Cela participe de notre stratégie, isoler les Palestiniens de Gaza et ceux de Cisjordanie, sauf qu'avec un taux de pauvreté catastrophique, avec un taux de chômage dramatique, un accès à l'eau conditionnée, une électricité pas toujours disponible et une impossibilité de fuir, eh bien l'enclave s'est transformée en volcan. À l'aube du 7 octobre, elle est entrée en éruption. Voilà ce qu'écrit le journaliste du Monde aujourd'hui.
C'est un papier que je vous conseille de lire, qui est absolument passionnant. Merci beaucoup, Magali. Papier de Benjamin Barthes dans le Monde.
Mr. President, I voted against this motion after a week of horror in Gaza and the EU diving in head first, draping our parliament in the Israeli flag, aiding and abetting in war crimes, including the bombing of a hospital, and still we find it impossible to say that Palestinian lives matter. We're still privileging one category of victims over another. We talk about the humanitarian situation in Gaza, But why is there a humanitarian crisis? Is it a natural disaster? Who cut off the water, fuel and electricity? Are we not sure? Who is bombing Palestinian civilians? Do we not know? Do you think we could mention it? There is a crime unfolding in Gaza now, such as we have not seen since the 1940s, and we are in it up to our necks. We're watching Israel murder Palestinian civilians and preparing to drive millions of them into the Sinai Desert to annex and colonise their land. It's another Nakba. It's a crime against humanity, not a humanitarian crisis. The EU will never live down this shame. Long live Palestine, long live Gaza.
Donc on est ici à 25 000 dans les rues de Bruxelles en soutien au peuple palestinien qui est en train de se faire massacrer à Gaza par l'État d'Israël. Donc on est ici notamment pour demander un cessez-le-feu immédiat, pour que ce massacre s'arrête immédiatement et aussi demander que la colonisation de la Palestine par l'État d'Israël s'arrête aussi.